Hello, brothers and sisters. How's it going? It's been a while, hasn't it? Long time no see. I haven't made a video in a long time, about 3 weeks. Hope you're having a splendid day or evening, depending on where you're at, brothers and sisters. So, how to deal with anger, the topic of today's video. I've been meaning to make a video about anger and how to deal with it for quite a time, but I kept putting it off because other videos felt more urgent to make first. But now, today, I decided to stop putting it off. And I'm finally making a video about how to deal with anger, brothers and sisters. Because as we all know, it's very important with our walk with God and our sanctification process. It's important how to deal with anger and have self-control on angry outbursts. Because as we all know, self-control is one of the fruits of the Spirit. So we have to have self-control over angry outbursts if we want to be sanctified, my friends. So right off the bat, I'm going to tell you that anger is a lot like lust. And dealing with anger we deal with it in a similar manner that we deal with lust, because they're both they're high energy emotions, both of them. Of course, they're a little bit different. The main difference between anger and lust is anger is a bit more high energy, but it dissipates a little faster than lust. Like, for example, when you get angry, it's harder to control yourself, not let the expletives fly, for example. It's harder to control yourself, to not cuss somebody out. But if you can control yourself in those initial few minutes of hot anger, then you're out of the woods, basically. Whereas with lust, the spirit of lust, the emotion, it's a bit slower to dissipate. You have to wait at least 2 or 3 hours, to control yourself before the lustful temptations go away. So that's the main difference between anger and lust. But like I said, they're dealt with in a similar manner because they're both high energy emotions, my friends. And having said that, everyone has their own unique anger triggers that sets them off. I'll talk a little bit about my own triggers. For example, sometimes when I play chess, if I lose a few games in a row, then that can really set me off. I mean, it depends largely on how I lose. Like, for example, if I'm playing like this wild tactical game, and if I deem my opponent is playing in a manner that's unsound, and he's just pulling off like these brilliant moves, engine-like moves, and if I lose in like a wild tactical skirmish like this, and that can really set me off, brothers and sisters. Or if I'm winning a game and if I make a bad move and I just blow away my advantage and I lose, that can set me off as well. I know in the grand scheme of things it might seem silly and immature to get angry over a chess game, but anger itself isn't really, I mean, it is what it is, It's a little bit immature, I know, but these are my own triggers, of course. And you might have, I'm sure you have your own triggers. For example, you might have a road rage, For example, if someone cuts you off in traffic, you might let the expletives fly. Or if you're married and if your spouse does something that you don't like if he or she lifts up the toilet seat, he or she leaves it up or down, that might set you off as well. Or they might say something that you might say something that triggers your insecurities. That might set you off as well. Like I said, everybody has their anger triggers. And of course, the first line of defense in dealing with anger is through prayer, of course. Coming to God with a humble heart, asking Him to remove our residual anger from our heart. Ask Him to have the discipline to not sin when we get angry, and to help us not get angry to begin with. And I'd like to touch a little bit on the topic of forgiveness and anger. When we forgive somebody, when somebody wrongs us and we forgive them, it doesn't mean that we still don't have residual anger in our heart about the incident. Because, for example, if somebody molests you when you were young, even if you've forgiven the person that molested you sexually, it's still hard to not harbor residual anger over this incident. Because this is the main reason why we should keep praying to God to cleanse our heart, to heal our heart from this residual anger. And this residual anger, of course, doesn't mean that you haven't forgiven your wrongdoers. It just means that you still harbor subconscious anger over the incident. It's similar when we were taught that we should love the sinner but not the sin itself. This is the same thing pretty much. Even though you're not angry at the person who did this to you anymore, but you're still angry that this incident happened to you, brothers and sisters. It's like more like an undirected anger towards the incident itself. So this is why we should pray to God to remove this residual anger. And it's not an overnight process, just like with lust. And it might take years and years for God to cleanse your heart from this residual anger, this subconscious anger. And the more of this type of anger you have in your heart, then the more you subconsciously try to come into contact with triggers, with things that trigger your anger. Like, for example, if losing chess games makes you angry like me, the more residual anger you have in your heart, then the more you seek out this trigger, the more you seek out to play more chess games, for example, so that you can lose, so that you can actually feel these emotions, believe it or not. And this is not done consciously. Consciously, you might be playing to enjoy yourself, but subconsciously, you're looking to get angry because you have this residual anger in you, brothers and sisters. So the less you seek out things that anger you, and that means you're making progress, that God is lessening your residual anger. He's healing your heart, brothers and sisters, and you're going in the right direction. So the second line of defense is, like I said before, avoid your anger triggers, the things that trigger your anger. If you're like me, that if you're playing chess and you lose a few games in a row, then take a break, Take a break at least for a few hours. Or if you really get angry, if you start cussing, for example, like sometimes I do, then take a break for a few days so that you can calm down and come back to it with a fresh mind. Or if you play video games and you're getting angry when you're playing video games, then take a break from those if you're losing in a video game. If you're on the road and having road rage, and if you're cussing out, you're just letting the expletives fly, then pull over somewhere, pull over in a parking lot, wherever you happen to be, and just stay there until you calm down. Don't just keep driving while you're angry. You might get into a car accident, my friends. And if you're having an argument with your spouse, your husband or your wife, don't talk to your husband or wife while you're still angry. Remove yourself from the premises, go take a walk, go somewhere else to calm down, go lift some weights, go for a run, and come back to them when you're calm so that you can have a logical discussion. You can't have a logical discussion while you're still angry, brothers and sisters. So remove yourself from the premises before you come back to your spouse, Let the angry emotions dissipate before you start talking again. And if you actually say some hurtful words to somebody, if you actually sin when you're angry, then ask for God for forgiveness. Sometimes when I lose in chess, for example, I let the expletives fly. I know I'm doing a lot better than I used to before I was born again. I mean, my angry outbursts are less intense and less frequent than they were before. But I still feel guilty whenever I get angry, because I still find it immature to get angry over a stupid board game, In the grand scheme of things, it's just inconsequential to get angry about these things, So if I use bad language, I go to God ask for forgiveness. Please, Lord, forgive me for getting angry, for using bad language. Even though I don't cuss my opponent to his face in the chat, but I still feel guilty about it, And you yourself should, ask for forgiveness if you actually say some hurtful words to your loved ones while you're angry. And another way I deal with anger is, it might seem a little bit unconventional to you, but have some sweets in your house and in your car. Any sweet that you like, in particular, any chocolate, for example, Pop-Tarts or Twinkies, whatever sweet floats your boat. I love chocolate and I love cheesecakes myself, for example. I find that eating sweets helps me to calm down. I'm not saying to you to eat sweets on a regular basis or even every day. Just have them ready to go in case you get angry over something, in case you get an angry outburst. Just go and eat some Twinkies instead of mouthing off expletives. It's better to eat a cheesecake, for example, than it is to say hurtful words to a loved one. Eating a cheesecake isn't a sin, as far as I know. So have these things ready, because eating sweets is a good stopgap measure to stop you from making hasty decisions in your anger, brothers and sisters. So to sum things up, prayer, avoid your anger triggers, and have some sweets available in your house or in your car if you have road rage, brothers and sisters. So that's pretty much it for the anger portion of this video. Now I'm going to get into the Bible quiz version portion of the video, brothers and sisters, because I haven't made a Bible quiz in quite a long time. So without further ado, I'm getting to Bible quiz number 7, brothers and sisters. Question number 1. Who was Jethro in the Bible? If you answered Moses' father-in-law, that's correct. Question number 2. What was Peter's previous name before Jesus baptized him Peter? If you answered Simon, that's correct. Question number 3. How long was Jesus in the wilderness when he was tempted by Satan before he stepped into his purpose? If you answered 40 days and 40 nights, or in short 40 days, that's correct. Question number 4. Who led Israel into the promised land after the death of Moses? If you answered Joshua, that's correct. Question number 5. Complete the sentence. Saul slayed his thousands and David blank. If you answered his tens of thousands or his 10,000s, that's correct. So let me know, brothers and sisters, how you did on the Bible quiz. If you at least got 3 of these correct, then give yourself a pat on the back. You really know your stuff, brothers and sisters. I hope you liked the anger portion of the video. I hope you got something out of it. If you did, then smash those buttons like there's no tomorrow. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Share the video with a friend on Facebook or Instagram. Let me know down in the comment section what your anger triggers are. I know everyone has them, has their own unique anger triggers, my friends. If you want me to lift up a prayer for you, say so in the comments. Also lift up a prayer for me too. We should all be helping each other out these dire times, brothers and sisters. So that's pretty much it, and I'll see you brothers and sisters in the next video. Bye-bye.